Okay, here we go. All right, this is like the 18th time for
Hey
this
everybody.
night. Hey, we're back.
Hey.
We're here.
We never left.
We never really left. No one's ever really gone. All right, so I'm Dave. This is Sam.
Hey.
Welcome to another late installment of Brickball Reviews.
This is just our luck for now on.
Yeah,
This is just it.
This is really
it is
just
what
our
it is
luck.
now.
This is
So maybe we can't blame Facebook, but we're going to.
We're going to. We're going to blame Facebook.
We're going to
blame
with that.
But in the meantime,
thank you for joining us. Thank you for bearing with us.
Thank you. Yes, thank you all for bearing with us during all of this. Sorry about the constant clicking. If you hear it.
But tonight's installment of Brick Wall Reviews will be on
the Avengers series, all four Avengers.
Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame. What about those, you ask? Thanos' plan.
Thanos' plan?
Thanos' plan.
Thanos' plan.
I mean, ultimately, I believe that they were Thanos' plan.
Ultimately, that's what it was about.
Okay,
so I'm gonna cut the bread short. It was very difficult trying to figure out which angle to take for our Avengers talk because there's so much that happens.
This could really be a 24-hour talk. There's really and just because we say it's Thanos' plan, I doubt that we won't venture off and talk about other aspects of the movie. Mm-hmm. But specifically is emphasized, or it might be stated that it's Thanos' plan because of the constant attraction to the Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
this is pretty much
the Infinity Stone arc. It's called the Infinity Saga. So the Infinity Stone arc goes throughout the entire series, it goes through the entire thing. The entire Avengers narrative from the first Avengers and obviously all the way down to Endgame and Infinity War. Infinity War and Endgame is all about Thanos' plan. It's all about, it ends up being about Thanos' plan.
Oh, yeah, we didn't know that. I mean, you won't find that out pretty much until Infinity War.
Yeah, just about for the casual viewer, but us Marvel nerds, which I'm gonna actually hand a lot of this over. And at the core, this is going to be a conversation from Marvel nerd to casual fan. You're a casual fan.
I like the movies.
Yes, but there's casual fan who I like the movies, and then there's
I love the movies.
There's us who have.
I enjoy. What I got to say to be a nerd?
No, there's us who looked through all 10 years of the Marvel and been like, yeah, I know everything. Like we know what the Guardians, we know things about the Guardians, we just know it all. We knew it all. We know it all. We saw it all coming. We were
I'm
getting obsessed over the comic stories and everything. But I guess everyone. We all know the story of the Avengers. A bunch of heroes join up to punch bad guys in the face.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this, and especially rewatching all four of these Avengers movies,
which we kind of did.
What's interesting about watching all four of these Avengers movies is there's a lot that's not there in terms of what you would expect to see with these team ups.
Yeah.
I said it a few times. I said I thought that we were robbed of a really good, potentially strong MCU. Mm-hmm. Is what I said. Is pretty much because I felt that we could have had more team ups after the first Avengers. We could have had more moments between certain Avengers.
Yeah.
All things that we didn't get until about phase 3.
Don't even get me started on the Hulk not returning.
Well, see, those are a lot of the things that I'm mentioning that. Like with the Hulk. Even though the film rights and everything, but a lot of the team ups we didn't get till phase 3. Mm-hmm. Where we got Thor and Hulk. We got was that really the only team up though? No, we got Civil War with all the characters. Then we got Spider-Man Homecoming with essentially Spider-Man and Stark. And
but specifically catered towards the Avengers series.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about those team ups,
Yeah, well, it would start with the Avengers series though. It would start with
of course.
You would have the you would have your Avengers movie, like the first Avengers, mm-hmm. where they have the team finally getting together, and then you don't see them together again until Age of Ultron, which was my big criticism when we watched it, was that Age of Ultron starts with them in the middle of a mission. Okay, cool, fine, whatever. But in the meantime, what were you guys doing? Like, what were you doing, Avengers? Like, were you guys?
They were avenging.
What were they avenging?
They were
What were they avenging to? Nice. What were they avenging to the point that when they got on that mission, they were so in sync as a team? Oh, we know power combos. Oh, I know a lullaby to sing to the Hulk to get them down. Hey, big guy, sun's going down. Like, where did that happen? When did that happen? When did Thor get a power combo?
But what I would say to that is that just shows that although they did not show us that there were private relationships that were happening amongst team members. Mm-hmm. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
they didn't show it, but based off of that portion of the movie, you would just assume that there are private, conversations, private mm-hmm. relationships that were built amongst team members.
And I would be more inclined to believe that. I'm finally putting away my advice, guys, and not just me. I would be more inclined to believe that if in movies such as Thor: The Dark World, in movies such as Captain America: The Winter Soldier, if in movies such as Iron Man 3, where the literal president was kidnapped, like the president of the United States was kidnapped, S.H.I.E.L.D., who was over the Avengers, portals opening up, all different types of places, things like that going on. Where's my buddy Steve? Is my buddy Steve Rogers going to come through and help me out? My buddy Tony Stark going to come help me?
That can be said about all of the movies that branched off from the Avengers series, or whatever you may call it. It's their own private movie. Like if you keep having the Avengers, all 50 of them, joke, show up every time, then you might as well just call it, another version of Avengers movies. But in order to specifically give viewers and fans what they want in regards to their own favorite character, then you have to just make it, let me show them what this person can do if they're by themselves, they don't have a team to save the world. Let's show why they're important, what they can bring to the team.
Which is fine and dandy.
Look at this now.
Okay, I'm gonna, all right, because we're here to really just talk at the core.
This is another episode. We're just gonna scratch what we said at the beginning. He just wants to talk about whatever he wants to talk about.
At the core, you're right. At the core, we're here to talk about the Avengers.
I'm just like,
so. let's dive into the first Avengers. Let's dive into the first Avengers.
And I hate to say let's dive into the first one, but we can briefly talk about it because I might mention something from another one. To throw in the relation.
Okay, well, let's do it like this. The first Avengers, many of you may know this. We watched this again recently. My first time watching it again in years.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I think your first time watching it in years.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
Which is funny because it's always on like TNT or something. But
the first one?
The first one was like on TV a lot.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Not like a lot. Not as much as Ultron. But
yeah, I think Ultron is
Ultron's on more. Yeah. Ultron's on a lot more. Why?
Because I don't recall.
When we get to Ultron,
and Civil War is on regular TV a lot too.
Yeah.
So
when we get to Ultron, I'm going to explain the irony in that being on so much. But for right now, the Avengers, the first Avengers, released in 2012. It was the biggest movie of all time at the time in 2012. Mm-hmm. Runtime of almost 2.5 hours, directed by what was then the god of comic books, the comic book movie Jesus, Joss Whedon, who is now the comic book movie devil because of the Justice League. Hashtag thank you for the Snyder Cut. Hashtag we'll keep more hashtags coming on that soon. But I mean, it was a $220 million gamble that paid off in ways that I don't think anyone was expecting it to. The first Avengers was the first time that I saw. I don't know if there's anything that predates this. I don't think that there is. The first time that a shared universe was successful and bought in a group of superheroes, a group of lesser known superheroes such as Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye. I would say Hulk, but come on, everyone knew Hulk. Everyone was there for Hulk. Mm-hmm. Everyone was there for Hulk. I said, yeah. Now you bring in these 6 heroes, put them together for the first time in this gigantic movie that was being led to for since like 2008. 2008 was the first Iron Man, and so you had 2008, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. I remember the hype around this movie, and it's really the plot is very simple actually. When global security is threatened by Loki and his cohorts, Nick Fury puts together a team. His cohorts, we'll get on that later. Nick Fury and his team will need all their powers to save the world from disaster, which is formed by Loki and his team. At the time, I mean, this really sets the tone for what the other movies are and what the rest of the MCU is today. Yeah. Of course, you got Loki. And
you know what though? Loki was a badass in that movie.
It's funny. It's really funny.
I was telling Dave, I was like, you know what? All of these characters were like pretty much badasses.
And we're gonna get to that. We're definitely gonna get to that.
To me, they were dimmed down a little bit. Like you would.
Honestly, this entire video, this segment here, can really branch off into an entire conversation about the MCU as a whole. But we're gonna try to keep it tight knit to the Avengers, and we're gonna try to not keep you guys here all night like the pastors in church say.
Just put that finger up in the back.
Yeah, we won't see you, but put the finger up in the back.
No, you know what? Put a comment.
Put the comment up there. If we're going too long, put the comment up. If you got a question, put the comment up with the one finger up. We'll address you real quickly. Yes, amen. All right. No, with the first Avengers, what you were saying about Loki, or what I was saying about Loki, what we were saying about the characters in general.
Yeah, in general.
I did not notice, because it's been so long since I watched this movie, I did not notice that Loki threw daggers directly at someone's neck. I say that to say that I did not realize how freaking brutal the first Avengers was in terms of the violence.
Good. That was good.
When Loki came out of that, at first I was like, Loki's doing this, and now I watched it again. I'm just like, holy shit, Loki! Like he killed that. That thing went in his neck, and then who got the headshot? Agent Maria Hill, played by Kobe Smulders.
Oh yeah.
She shot the dude, headshot, clear as day, headshot. Now, it can be argued from my point of view, and this is where I start my super fan talk, and then this is where I'll begin to hand it off to you.
This is what he starts it?
It can be argued that because at the time that the Marvel properties were owned by a different studio, that a lot more gratuitous violence was appropriate.
Okay.
Because, we're under the Disney umbrella now, and we don't. When's the last time you saw someone get shot in the head in a Disney movie? So, I mean, you don't really see all the violence. I mean, there's action violence, of course, because it's an action movie. But
what I'm
this
saying,
first Avengers
what I'm
really
saying
had
in regards to that, the first Avengers really had it. But you keep dying down the hype of the movie. Like, to me, you're like dimming it down because you end up ultimately dimming down the characters.
You gotta talk about that as we go forward with the other movies. Yeah,
and that was my whole thing because, like I said, even with Black Widow in the movie, in the first Avengers, I was like, well, damn, she's like a real beast.
Yeah.
Beast mode.
Yeah, I agree.
But I haven't seen that movie in so long. Like, she's there and she does little kicks and whatever, but not to the extent that she was doing it in Avengers. So it kind of made watching the Avengers made me. I like Black Widow, but it made me like her character even more. Mm-hmm. And the type of abilities that she possessed, being that she's not like a super being.
Yeah.
So I that's my only thing. Mm-hmm. But just to get back on the fact that Loki and his mission, mm-hmm. as he was working for somebody.
Yeah.
Because of the promise, of him having a portion of whatever the goal was. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay. And like I said, with Loki, it really showed him, it really showed him. And I'm like, well, damn, Loki's a beast too. Because I forgot. I don't say I forgot. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say that based off of me watching the other films and, how soft he became. Yeah. Because he did become soft. Especially by the time, his character got killed off. And honestly, that's with all the characters. They all became soft after a while. Mm-hmm. Like they weren't really as hard or as brutal as they really were. And that could be said to be related to, them first having companionship with each other and knowing that, mm-hmm. it's like, to me, it created a soft spot for them.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Thor. Like you saw how Thor came out. Well, even with him too. But, we all know he was depressed that,
Well, hold on, because now.
But I told you I'm going to jump around. I already told you that. Sorry.
Well, let's take it back to
But I mean, if you want to just do a character spread, that's what I'm, mm-hmm. and just saying that portion of it. So that's what I'm saying. Even Iron Man and his cockiness, he was still cocky, but it wasn't as cocky. Mm-hmm. Like he wasn't as self-centered. And, he was more of a team player. So it kind of developed them, which is also good, but then it also dimmed them down from their ruthless mm-hmm. ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's, just with the first Avengers alone, kind of going back to discussing that a little bit. I agree. You had a lot more, the characters were kind of fleshed out a little differently. I told you about the common joke the other day about, and this is my way to segue into this, about the Tony Stark, about all the MCU movies basically being like Iron Man 1 through 9. Yeah. This is, I think the Avengers showed a side of Tony Stark that was the last we saw that side of him. The arrogant, cocky, so much of that. And that's where he starts to kind of mellow out, calm out after those movies.
And then you can kind of say it's probably age too, I think I'm getting tired after a while.
I think to your point where you say that some characters were weakened down, I would say some characters were powered up after this. There's not really much else to say about the first Avengers. That was your introduction to the characters as a group, as a whole. So now we get into Avengers Age of Ultron. So Age of Ultron, this came out in 2015. I remember when this movie came out. I remember all the hype about it. I remember watching every single trailer, waiting. I remember when the trailer leaked, and I was there the very moment the trailer leaked. It was amazing.
He was there.
I was there. I was on the internet. I was outside that day. Ooh, we was there. We was in there. It was like, what? Mm-hmm. So, I was when the trailer leaked and then Marvel took it down and put it back up. I was like, well, cat's out of the bag. So, this comes at a time where all the other movies came out. You had your Thor sequel, you had your third Iron Man, you had your second Captain America, and you had no Hulk. So you had no Hulk, no Hawkeye, no Black Widow movie. Okay, fine, cool. 3 characters you don't see again until Age of Ultron. This movie comes out, and this is where I say that some characters were leveled up. Captain America in the first Avengers versus Captain America in Age of Ultron. Who are you taking? I'm going to keep my question, Sam. And I'm going to alter the question after you answer.
Age of Ultron or let me think.
While you're thinking, I will say the only reason I would take first Avengers
That's what I'm thinking.
Is because that was the only Cap that I saw hold a gun.
Like I said, I like the Roy character, so I might go with the first Avengers as well. And he was Roy. He didn't care. He was like, I'm doing it.
Well, this is where I will directly contest you on that. So Age of Ultron Cap, that is after Winter Soldier, right?
Okay.
You know Winter Soldier, my favorite.
Here we go.
Right. You know that Winter Soldier was where Cap leveled the fuck up, right? I will take Age of Ultron Cap. That's what I'm going to say. I'm taking Age of Ultron Cap.
Okay, well.
I'm taking Age of Ultron Cap. That's a character I say leveled up because, like I said, you had his first Avengers movie where it's like, who's Captain America? Like, he's just some guy from 1940s. Okay, I have to see this movie because he's relating to the Avengers. You see Avengers, he's the guy who wears the goofy costume. The costume was goofy. Dad, come on.
Hey, that was America's ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was America's ass and America's strange costume for him.
I can do this all day.
I mean, I liked him a bit in Avengers. The first Avengers, like, okay, here's Captain America. There's that guy. Okay, he does cool stuff.
But he was cocky too, though, in the first one. So it's like.
But his was for again, watching the first Avengers differently now. That was him. I'm just fresh out the ice. I don't want to be here in this world right now because they are asking me to do all this fighting now.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
He's like, what you want?
Right. So now you get to Age of Ultron Cap where he just took down his own organization, found out that he was working for the bad guy the whole time, and now he's pretty much just moving on, you can say, his own accord.
Yeah.
And
finding himself.
He's pretty much, he's in his space. He's in his zone, and his fighting is a little different too. His fighting style comes off differently, and he's less afraid. The confrontations between him and Tony, he's more forthcoming with them now in Ultron. So that's why I say, like, as a character, he wasn't
really holding back either.
No, he wasn't holding back in the first Avengers, but now he's just like, Tony, I'm tired of your shit.
He's always expressed himself, but he's always stood for what he felt was right. So I mean, that's one. Well, I'm not gonna say that's one thing about all of them because some of them did sucker down. But
that's one thing about Cap. That's one about Cap. It's strengthened in each appearance.
He's gonna stand for what he believes is correct, even if it's not in law that it is correct. So
I'm rocking with Ultron Cap. Now let's go through character tier list. Now let's do Thor. You taking first Avengers Thor or you taking Ultron Thor?
Listen, I'm not about to go through all 50 characters with you.
Let me say something.
I'm not.
All right. Well, Ultron is a movie. Avengers Age of Ultron, like I said, released in start.
Because we have a deeper issue to discuss.
We're getting there. This is the one where Tony Stark does it. This is the one where Tony Stark builds a murder bot.
Short-haired Thor, but I like the appearance of short-haired Thor.
We're gonna get there.
But I like the abilities of. Okay.
We're gonna get there. Tony Stark builds a murder bot and it tries to kill everyone, and then another murder bot shows up that isn't a murder bot, but a bot with a special gem inside of his head.
That is so funny. It's my murder bot.
He did. That's exactly what Ultron was. Ultron.
No, I wouldn't say that he made a murder bot.
He made a murder bot.
He ended up becoming a murder bot.
He made a murder bot. I think one of the things that stood out to me about Age of Ultron, like I said, I like seeing the characters just be around each other and actually just interact and stuff like that. I feel like that was something that was like the last time we get them interacting. We get them
as a whole,
being able to sit down as a collective, shoot the shit, try to pick up hammers.
You know what I'm gonna say to that is the fact that they were called for that specific purpose during the first Avengers and also with Age of Ultron. During Infinity War and Endgame, they were out handling their own business.
Yeah.
They didn't get a chance to get called together. So that's, now I'm thinking about that. Now I'm like, damn, they didn't put them together. But they technically didn't have a chance to put them together because they were all, this is the movie that showed you their own lives and you wonder why Hulk, like, this would be the movie that should have showed why Hulk or, and Black Widow got together. This is what you were asking for.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
all
this
right,
is what you were asking for.
Okay, so that's what this is the movie that should have been.
I mean, it's not should have been, but this is what
could have.
Why you didn't show me? How do we know that these characters got together? How we know this bond so strong?
Right, right.
This is the movie.
Yeah, the Age of Ultron is definitely a movie.
I didn't even know Infinity War, because they were together in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Infinity War, where you have Scarlet Witch.
What I'm saying, there should have been.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's an intermission movie that we didn't mention in here, but it's an honorable mention of a movie. But I'm going to finish talking about Ultron very quickly first. I mean, the movie as a whole, though, like with it being a problem that's a more, I guess you could say, a more domesticated problem, since it's something that was caused by an in-house source. That being Stark.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, introducing different characters. I mean, what do you think of the movie as a whole? How do you think it stands up to the first Avengers? Do you think it surpasses it, or do you think
Age of Ultron?
Yeah, because a common criticism about Age of Ultron is that it does that thing that Spider-Man 3 did, which is overstuff it with characters. And then this one had the unfortunate predicament of having a lot of lore surrounding it.
What I'll say about Ultron is that it like anybody would say, it pretty much turned into a Tony movie. Or it's because, I'm not gonna say it centers around him, but it makes the center focus on him as it being, his product.
Yeah.
So I'll say that, as where the first Avengers, it wasn't centered around him and his machines and his, his stuff. It was centered around, the other beings.
So do you think that, because in the comic books, Ultron was actually created by Hank Pym, who is, the original Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. Do you think that Age of Ultron would have served better had Ultron been the creation of an outside source as opposed to an inside source?
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say that the first Avengers was based on pretty much low-key trying to get the Infinity Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So if Age of Ultron was also based on Ultron being an outside source trying to get the Infinity Stone for Thanos, then it would have pretty much glued those movies together.
Okay. I get it. I think that would have. I honestly think that it kind of shows that they may not have planned that far ahead.
But also, Age of Ultron could have just been like, just a regular domestic issue.
Mm-hmm.
As where, the first Avengers was like, more of
a worldwide threat.
Yeah. But that's where those words, but I'm just saying, like, we're going to show them fighting out of space, fighting a being from outer space. Now we're going to show them fighting a being that is from their own, planet.
But that I think that's where.
Like that. But then also, I'm also feeling the other, with what I mentioned not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I see why both ways, or why it couldn't.
Yeah, that's a lot of the common. That's why I say, like, that's a lot of the common criticism is, especially with Hydra being taken out, and then this is my lightsaber into it, especially with Captain America 3, Civil War, which is in a way an Avengers film, with that taking that mantle of having so many other superheroes and everything in there. And then you have the Winter Soldier, where literally the entire SHIELD operative was being taken down. Wouldn't SHIELD being taken down be a bit more extreme and important, or on the same level with Tony building an Ultron? Like, okay, you could have had SHIELD gets taken down, Avengers deal with this, and then Ultron happens. And then we go, all that. Because then remember, all right, I'm going to jump straight to Civil War now. Which honorable mention is Civil War. because in Civil War they brought up, okay, first you have the New York thing, then you had Shield was taken down, the DC incident, then you have the Ultron incident. Of the three things they named right there, one of them had absolutely nothing to do with five other people in the room. five other people on the official Avengers team. Right. I would say five of the people in the room, but in the beginning of Civil War was an individual Avengers team consisting of Steve Rogers, and you had Scarlet Witch and yes, guys, I'm plugging in my extremely awesome laptops. No, you had it happens when you charge things. No, you had Cap, Falcon, Black Widow, and what's her name? Scarlet Witch on the same team.
In what again?
In Civil War.
What again?
In Civil War.
Uh-huh.
So you had them on their own Avengers team, and then you had everyone else at the compound. And
but Civil War is also what led up to why they were separated in Infinity War to begin with.
Yes. Yeah. Civil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's funny because Civil War through Endgame really is kind of its own trilogy.
Yeah.
And let me backtrack. Age of Ultron was also directed by Joss Whedon, who after this movie kind of lost a little bit of his Jesus stain amongst the Avengers community. But there was said to be a lot of behind the scenes drama on that, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like,
okay, so with Infinity War.
Yeah, so now we've hit our intermission. We're going right into Infinity War, the movie that Sam cannot wait to talk about because it is probably her favorite Avengers movie. It is definitely my favorite Avengers movie, which I guess now, since I've rewatched the first Avengers, comes in a very, it's still first. First Avengers comes in close second. Infinity War. We all know the story. That's the story. I would say, okay, so we kind of talked about what, yeah, snap, crackle, dust. we talked about what led up to the first Avengers, in terms of characters and movies. We talked a little bit about that. We talked about what led up to Age of Ultron.
Well, we've had a discussion on the worst character.
I'm gonna ask you who you're referring to, but I feel like I do know who, and I feel like I definitely skipped over that character when we talked about Ultron. But it's okay. I know we'll probably double back there. Infinity War. We talked about the movies that led up to Ultron. We did not talk about the movies that led up to Infinity War. Just to kind of give a little background on where the characters were. You had so many better movies to come during this time. This was phase 3, which is considered to be the best phase. Civil War is in phase 3. But yeah, you had so many. The movies leading up to Infinity War were better. Just tell me that. Just co-sign that because it's true.
Why am I going to co-sign it?
Co-sign it because it's true.
What movies that led up to there?
That led up to Infinity War. You had Civil War. You had Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Mm-hmm. There was Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. And I believe that was it. There was no other movie. Ant-Man, the Ant-Man. Okay.
Well, yeah, I give that. Yeah.
No, Ant-Man was in the phase. Well, yeah, Ant-Man came after Ultron. So yeah, Ant-Man, and then I think that's it. I think that if there's one that I'm missing, comment on it. And unless you're not watching this live, then I mean, just hold your water. Gosh, nah. Yeah, those are the movies that led up to that were Phase 3 though. Mm-hmm. That was a good chunk of them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would say that those were good movies that led up to it. The character
and Black Panther.
Yeah. I would forget that.
How did we forget Black Panther?
Because that's where the end battle took place.
Yeah. So you had really good movies that led up to Infinity War. Not just good movies, but you had good character developments that led up to Infinity War.
Or the character letdowns that led up to Infinity War. Hulk.
No. Because you're so ready. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you get your 15
You don't
seconds.
even want me to say no. I'm leaving. Listen, I'm leaving. I'm going to bed.
Right. Listen. Right. So we had a lot of things that led up to Infinity War. Ragnarok being the best thing to lead up to Infinity War, which also put everyone on such a high, myself included. It put us on such a high. Like, holy shit, Hulk's Hulk, Thor's Thor, Thor's at his best, Hulk's at his best. Thor was at his best.
Thor was at his best, but Hulk was not at his best. No, he was not. Hulk was baby. Hulk wanted to be catered to. Hulk was not at his best. I'm so sorry, and I said that. I always said that.
For us people who have wanted that particular Hulk from day one,
and that's
Hulk
fine.
Was at his best. So at that point, they had a balance. At that point, all they had to do was have Hulk come back to Earth, and you could have had Hulk do what Hulk did in Avengers 1 and Avengers 2, and what Hulk was probably doing for the past 2 years on Sakaar, which is kicking ass and taking names.
He was kicking ass of people who were lesser than him.
Wasn't that what he always did, though?
No.
I mean, think about it. The Chitauri was the suckiest army in the galaxy. Ultron was a bunch of robots. He fought Thor was the only one who was really toe-to-toe with him. So then he meets Thanos in Infinity War. In the first 5 fucking minutes of Infinity War, excuse my language, YouTube, he meets Thanos in the first few minutes. Okay, yeah, Thanos knocks him in the jaw, and I said, okay, Thanos, you got round 1.
And that's what I'm saying.
And then that was the only round. That ended up being the only round.
And that's what I'm saying. He was so much on his pedestal of always winning. He could not take a loss. He's as long as he's been wherever he was in Ragnarok, he was winning. He was the champion. He had pretty much, idolized.
To this day, there is no justification. So much so that might just really just be the only explanation that makes sense. The only justification that has ever been given for that from the people who wrote and made these movies was that Hulk was tired of being used. No, Hulk, you are not tired of being used, okay? You are not.
But I'm gonna say that I can give them that explanation
because there's a one line in Ragnarok, right?
Not only that too, but also in the first Avengers, he wasn't trying to fight.
Bruce wasn't trying to fight.
Yeah.
Hulk was all about that life.
They're one and the same. But if you want to separate the man from the beast, then Hulk got his ass dragged. So
in years.
Yeah.
First fight in years.
Yeah, because in Ragnarok, he was winning everything. Like I said, he was idolized. He was a champion. He had to worry about nothing. He living pretty much in a mansion.
Hulk was Hulk.
So
Hulk was Hulk.
So he lost.
Yeah.
Or as a beast or whatever he wants. Just like Ador came back.
So it's crazy.
With Infinity War, we have them all, going for the stones, trying to make sure that Thanos does not get the stones. So we're pretty much between Earth and space, trying to,
trying to stop Thanos from completing his goal. That is definitely one person we did not talk a lot about was
Thanos.
Yes, dear old dad, dear old Papa Thanos. Um,
in the first Avengers.
Yeah.
And then in Infinity War, Thanos hired people.
Yeah. I
made
for
promises.
This job. And just grabbing the bait. He's found out that he's behind that. It's really in Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. That's where you really find out that Thanos is, the mastermind, the guy. But so yeah, I'm gonna let you talk about Thanos while I put something on chargers. Oh, never mind. I found my charger, guys.
Okay, so for me, for Thanos, he didn't anticipate. Well, he set out, he reached his goal, he accomplished it, which we all hated in Infinity War. Mm-hmm. We was all sad and we hated to see our characters go, but they left in a snap, quick. Turn to dust, ashes. So we hated to see that. And so, Thanos, he was real cocky in Infinity War. He knew he was the man.
All right, so here's the thing, right? We all know this, right? We all know the Thanos arc between Infinity War and Endgame. Those are, he starts off, he's that guy. Endgame, he's a more brutal version of himself. Mm-hmm. But
in terms of a more brutal version of himself. After he found out,
and it's a past version. So yeah,
see, and that's what I'm saying. Now the past version was pretty much the royal Thanos. Mm-hmm. In Infinity War, he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. I know this, but he was more dimmed down in Infinity to age once again. Mm-hmm. Because as a character's age, they're just like, you start to dim down a little bit. Behaviors and all that start to dim down. Mm-hmm. So he was dim in Infinity War and much it again. Mm-hmm. He didn't see once again, and that was his problem again. Mm-hmm. He didn't see that he was not going to accomplish it.
Yeah.
He didn't see that the Avengers would interfere once again and stop him. He felt that he knew what was going to happen and that he was going to change it because they were trying to change his plan. Think about it. He got cut off twice by the Avengers. Twice. Mm-hmm. Ha, cut off. That's funny. But he got cut off twice by them. So, but you end up playing yourself. Mm-hmm. Twice.
Yeah.
So that's what I got to say about.
The Thanos conversation is obvious. It's there. There's really not much to say in terms of the Thanos conversation because it's a conversation.
And then the fact that he sacrificed his own daughter, like that just showed you.
Again, the Thanos conversation's been being had since 2018, right? So, in my mind, I'm just like, okay, we all know what's good with Thanos. We all know, him in between those movies. But I guess one thing that I looked at, especially going back to the first Avengers and looking at it again, is seeing how the characters have evolved throughout the films. And then even just with their combat skills, how they fight was different about how they're fighting. And then mainly how the last battles with each one go. Mm-hmm.
There's always an end battle.
There's always an end battle. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say which.
But the way Infinity War came in with, Infinity War was action from A to Z.
We know
it was action from A to Z. But you know what I would say is that Endgame was a whole, let's just say 31, 32 minutes long.
Yeah, and
that whole 31, 32 minutes was
this is the thing. This is the thing that is.
But you know
this is the thing that is most frustrating now. Talking about Avengers. Now it's just like, you notice, like it's just like the same. It's the same beats now. Like what's different to say about the Avengers? If you're
of course, listen, they're a team that's composed, or they're a team that was put together to fight off, threats to human life. I mean, that's just point blank, period. You're going to always expect that when there's an Avengers movie. I mean, come on. Or any superhero movie.
Well, do you think that...
see them sitting around trying to eat like Thanos.
Do you think that in the future, as we move ahead with Avengers films in the future, do you think that they'll be able to surpass what they've done so far?
Based off of Endgame, yes. But you know what though? I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. You're basing it because you didn't like the...
I know. That's why I was getting ready to change that statement, because after I watched Endgame again, after I was out of my feelings and expectations, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I felt it was. But what I say it holds up to Infinity War, no.
Endgame, in theory...
I'm not gonna say it was bad, but it just made me mad at how they went about it after all the hype over, Infinity
That's
War.
what I'm saying. Endgame, in theory, was full of interactions that maybe we should have had in earlier Avengers films.
Yeah. Yeah. If they would switch, it was vice versa, I could have went out on a high with Infinity War being the last movie. I would say that.
Yeah. I think with those last two Avengers, they had a bar that was set that was hard to clear. It was hard to clear that bar.
No.
Because listen, Endgame had to... I've said this a bajillion times. Endgame had to land a certain way. If it did not land,
and that's what I was going to say, is that I understand why they ended Endgame the way that they did. But as a person like watching it, like you're a super fan and you would get that portion of it, they had to land the bar the way they did. But if a regular person like me, I would have wanted Infinity War to be the end game, the end result. Not to say that, Thanos snapping away everybody, but I would have took the ending for Endgame and put that for the ending for Infinity War. If Infinity War was the last movie. Just to, because at the end of the day, that you want the hero to win, So I would probably switch, let's just say we just switch the endings. And we made Infinity War the last movie with Endgame's ending, and Endgame before Infinity War with, Infinity War ending.
That it's the Lord of the Rings. It's reverse Lord of the Rings.
So... But that's what I'm saying. Like I said, not delving into, say, I'm a super fan or whatever the case may be, but, with regular expectations, that's what I would have technically expected or technically wanted. Like I said, Endgame had more of a psychological pull on you, and, the traumatic effects of people being snapped away or whatever the case may be. And, like I said, even before, Thor going through his depressive state and whatever the case may be. So, it showed a lot of that. So, like I said, as a final movie, I would have wanted more of an action movie as opposed to like a Lifetime movie where we're going to just stop. Like, it's more of a Lifetime where all the action's at the end. Not to say, it wasn't action, but you know what I'm saying. More action-packed. A Lifetime movie. Lifetime having that last 5 minutes where it goes down. 3 to 5 minutes.
I mean, those are pretty much like the basics. I don't know. I don't have anything else really. Because talking about all the Avengers.
Talking about all the Avengers. You can't talk about all the Avengers without the inclusion of the other movies as we've just witnessed from Dave.
Because
which I understand. I understand that. But it had to take. This is just
it's a massive.
This is an introduction.
It's a massive film
to the
franchise.
Avengers. That's what it has to be.
Yeah, it's a massive film franchise
because it's too much to talk about in one
years.
set. Yeah, it's too much to talk about in one setting for people who aren't fans to actually get a grasp of everything, so that they're able to decipher and be like, okay, well, I understand this, or I understand that. So it's a lot. But like the movies based on the Avengers, you try to get a general idea of each character. Then you want to branch off and possibly see what they do as an individual in their own predicament.
So
because if you want to talk about the movie leading up to Endgame, Captain Marvel, highly disappointed. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you want to, they done call this character out. She about to come tear it up. Then you see her in her own movie. Like what? Huh? And which you understand it's an origin movie, but down, don't do that. Don't hype her up at the end of Infinity War to make it sense she's about to do some shit. Then she get her own movie. You don't show her hyped up. Then you bring her in Endgame and she's on some bullshit. She should have blasted him to smithereens when she landed him. I'm sorry. She should have, to show her power. And that's what I'm saying about character buildup and them diminishing the ability of a power. Because I believe if Captain Marvel was in Avengers, we would have saw her raw. But here we are trying to diminish the actual powers of the superheroes. Even Scarlet Witch, boom, boom. We know she could have teared things up herself.
I don't think it's so much as diminish. I mean, there's always limit. There's always I was talking to someone, and it's what they call, I didn't know it was referred to as this, was what's referred to as the Superman problem, where you have a character that can literally do everything. How do you make a character that can do everything humanized with a weakness, and not just he shows up and he can punch someone in the face and end something in 2 seconds? How do you present that character, especially amongst a team of other people who may not be as powerful or are just as powerful? How do you present this character?
But you know what I'm gonna say to that? I'm gonna say that's where that person would have developed some type of character or personality towards working with the team, knowing that I have all this power, but I'm in a team and I don't need to. It's like this. It's like, LeBron is probably the best player on the team. We're not gonna always pass on the ball. We're gonna give the ball to somebody else too. We're gonna show a little bit of what he got, but we're also gonna throw the ball to somebody else so they can see what they got.
And it's still part of, I mean, I'm not a comic book reader, but I still see it as still part of the Superman problem. Like,
which I get, because I'm thinking about they could have had Captain Marvel come through, bust some people up, whatever the case may be. But I think if they would have just showed her at full capacity in her movie, I probably still would have been like, we saw her do this in her movie. But I just feel that when you're working with a team, that you have to know your limitations. Mm-hmm. And that's just it. Because by the time we get to Endgame or even Infinity War, matter of fact, if you want to talk about the first Avengers, all of them pulled out all the stops, I'm not going to say all the stops, but you saw more of each character, of their abilities. Mm-hmm. But as they learned to work with a team, then they were kind of a little more humble in what they brought to the table. Yeah. And now I think about it, okay, I understand why, but you could have still had, them working at their not full capacity, but in a team kind of way. Mm-hmm. So that's the Superman effect right there. Learning how to work with a team and knowing that I don't have to do all of this, but I'm gonna still do more than what I normally probably wouldn't do. And then, like I say, even in their own movie, because then we have to understand that they're in their own movie and they have to bring out everything, mm-hmm. because they're not working by themselves or with a limited group.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying about that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. I asked this question a while ago. I'm going to ask this again, and I think that's where we're going to cut it there. Um, moving forward, I mean, like again, do you think what do you think an Avengers film looks like? Because I have no expectation. I'm going to throw it out there. I have no expectations. Endgame is where I peaked. Like even now, like going through this, I think this is literally the last time you will ever see me talk about Marvel, unless it's Thor or Guardians of the Galaxy. That's just where I'm at with this. Or Spider Man, because I like Spider Man. Spider Man's cool, or Black Panther. Okay, so I got four. All right, I got four. Four I'm gonna talk about. And if Blade ever comes around, Falcon Winter Soldier's TV series. I mean, just not the cliches, but I'm kind of like, phew. I mean, I got some things I'm sliding over to, but how do you I mean, what do you think an Avengers film looks like?
I have no idea. Because I'm gonna say I really don't know, because like I said, with the first one I didn't expect this one, this series to be what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't, and maybe it wasn't supposed to be what it was, but I don't know what one would look like. I mean, I wouldn't mind them fighting somebody, out of space, whatever, because that shows different powers and abilities and stuff.
But do you think with after just having so much, well, not do you think, I think after having so many extraterrestrial threats, I think something domestic and something smaller.
But that's pretty much Ultron. Because you don't need for something. The Avengers are supposed to be for the higher threats. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing about it. You don't need all that power on a domestic threat.
I mean, not like a domestic, like I'm a bank robber, but something yo, I'm about to shut down all this stuff, and no, Peter Parker, you ain't gonna stop me.
I don't know.
I would want to know what an Avengers team looks like first. Like,
oh, now,
yeah. Because there's rumors of young Avengers, there's rumors of new teams, there's rumors of new leaders. And I mean, unfortunately, COVID pretty much is stopping us from getting that until maybe 2030.
They all gonna have their mask on then. Everybody, well, I mean, Stark already Stark is no longer, he's in a casket. But
Spidey's already in the mask, so.
Yeah, Cap already.
Instead of lifting it from here, he's going to lift it from here.
Cap, you're going to have to cover your nose and your mouth in this one, buddy. To cover your nose and your mouth.
But, yeah, so.
You're going to be immune. Everybody's going to have to get some Hulk blood to get rid of this.
Right. Eventually.
That would be cool.
Eventually, whenever the She-Hulk series comes out, I'm going to watch the first few. Mark my words, I'm going to watch the first whatever episodes. And I will tell you all I'm a Hulk fan, and I'm looking forward to the She-Hulk series, and I'm looking at it with the most critical eyes on the planet, especially if you're going to have a name like Bruce Banner in the show. I have my critical eyes. But with that said, we have wrapped up pretty well, I think. I mean, there's nothing you can say about.
I'm not going to say it was like a real good wrap up, because there's so much to talk about, like, and try to jam it in one session it's not right. I'm gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, because there's so much that you can talk about in just Infinity War by itself.
And this is where not to throw this term around loosely, but this is where super fan versus casual fan comes in. As super fan, I have talked about these things since 2017. So I'm like, okay, these are all cool points. Okay. That's not saying I don't want to hear, because I do want to hear what you would have to say.
What I'm going to say to that comment is that you just touched the surface on where you can dig deeper into them. You threw your comments out there, you said what you want to say about it, but there's deeper understanding and meaning behind each scenario and thing that you put out there. That's what I'm going to say.
I've been in the 90-minute rooms. I've been in the 90-minute conversations. But I would love to hear what you have to say.
I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in.
Maybe a part 2 of this will come. Dave
said everything he wanted to say. If you rewatch this, he was pretty much talking for about 50 minutes of this. I had 10 minutes to just try to rush in and say what I wanted. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. on our new home.
Yep, over here on YouTube, this is definitely where we'll be from moving forward. Do excuse us. We're learning and navigating YouTube, but definitely like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you've come from our Facebook channel to watch,
if you're watching, want to comment even after the recordings, that is fine. We will do our best to get back and respond.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, because I want to see what you have to say.
Yeah, if you guys have any additional comments, definitely drop comments in below. If you have any thoughts on what we said, if you have any opinions on what we said, drop in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Definitely join us here live. We'll definitely try to be here on time next week.
We will be.
We will be here.
We were on time today. We were on time.
We'll be here on time.
As we are.
10 p.m. next week, fully up and operational for another review. If you guys have suggestions, definitely drop them in the comments section below. Remember to like and subscribe and turn on your notification bells to know when we are going live. We have an anime segment coming up with Sam. That will be coming very, very soon. We are working on that, putting the final pieces and final touches on that to bring you some of that. It will be hosted solely by her. My face won't be in this.
It'll be on Death Note, so it's on. It is on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you can start watching it.
Crunchyroll, if you have that, it's on Crunchyroll as well. And I'm not sure what else is streaming. I'm not sure. It might be on Funimation. I know it's on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll. Everything is on Crunchyroll. All your anime needs are on Crunchyroll. But yeah, Death Note is definitely on Netflix. The series, not the movie.
The movie is too.
I was saying we were referring to the series.
Oh, yeah, we're referring to the review of the series.
What movie? There was a movie?
There was a movie.
That's what I should have said.
There was a movie.
Does the movie count for anything? No.
Don't get me started. But anyway.
Join us here next week where I think we will be talking about a DC property. Or we'll be talking about a non-DC property. Maybe. I'm ready. Hey, listen. DC, y'all got me locked now.
And remember to be safe out there.
Got my man panties wet, DC.
I sound kind of slack. But
it is.
Be safe and be safe and be safe and be safe and be safe.
And be safe. All right.
Peace out.
Peace out. Take it easy.